Hi, it's so great to be back here with Carol. And what are we cooking today?
Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a traditional sticky date pudding with a salted caramel sauce. Delicious.
Yum! So do I get to taste test that afterwards?
Absolutely.
My favourite part.
And they're really easy.
Great.
Yep. Now, you can't have a sticky date pudding without the dates. And for those who don't like chopping,
Like me.
well, or they don't want to cut their finger, they don't want
Like
to use
me.
they don't want to use a knife and a chopping board, have a little pair of little handy scissors in the kitchen, just used for cooking, and just snip away instead of chopping them. It makes life so much easier.
Great tip, Carol.
So there you go, boom, boom, done. Okay, so once we've chopped the dates, which there is 250 grams weighed of dates, what we do is we add 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, otherwise known as carb soda. It's not baking powder, it's bicarbonate of soda. So I'll explain that. Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Okay, all right.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to sprinkle that over the dates. Boom, boom, easy peasy. Then what we do is we get a cup of boiling water, squeezy, and we pour that over the dates.
Oh, very exact there.
Yeah,
okay.
give or take a milliliter or so.
Yeah.
Don't ever be scared of cooking. If you can be as accurate as you can, it's all good. So we just kind of, let that sit and they will soften for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And
I can do that much?
Yep. This is such an easy recipe.
Excellent.
So, cool. So while the dates are softening, you can get 125 grams of butter. And if it's soft or room temperature, it's going to melt quicker into the date. So I've actually just chopped up 125 grams. And as you can see, it's just in there. And just sort of like, stir it in a little bit with that hot water and the dates and just let it continue
to soften.
Sort of soften and melt. And so then it's ready to blitz after that with a stick blender.
Okay, this will be good.
It's really not complicated. It's just like add,
Yep, and away you go.
pour in, bake, and then eat.
Yay.
Awesome. So the butter has actually melted in with the hot water, the carb soda and the dates, and we're just going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, which is actually stronger than vanilla essence.
Oh, okay. Yep,
so this one's sort of like a syrupy, it's a lot richer. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of that. Don't be shy, nice and generous. And that's done. And we're also going to add in the sugars. So we have got, okay, so this one is the 1/4 cup of soft brown sugar. So you can see it's nice and soft and squidgy and molassesy and yummy. So that can go in, that's already pre-measured. And we will also be putting in 1/2 cup of caster sugar. And that's the caster sugar. Caster sugar is fine. It's basically just like regular granulated sugar, but it's finer.
Yep.
So that goes
So
in.
if you were stuck and you didn't have
Just use granular sugar, it's fine. Just normal sugar like you put in your tea and coffee and Milo and whatever.
You know when you get through your recipe and you're like, seriously, I haven't got the right sugar. So that's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's So
it'll do the job.
it will do the job, exactly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to give that a little blitz. And so these things can suction cup. We don't want that, so we hold it on a slight angle. So, oh, did it get ya? The wonderful world of cooking. Okay, so you can wear an apron with this if you want.
Looks good.
You can also do this in a food processor if you wish, just remembering to scrape down the sides. So it doesn't have to be, you know, it's just not chunky anymore. So
okay, yeah, so it doesn't have to be super smooth. It's still got a bit of texture.
Yeah, you can see that
bits in there.
a bitsy bit. Yep, done. Okay, so what I've done now is everything's all blitzed or pureed, and I'm just transferring it to a bigger bowl so that we can add the flour in. So, and also the eggs.
Awesome.
So we're just going to break.
Oh, you're right. Yep,
Thank you. So we're going to break 3 eggs and just give them a little bit of a light whisk with the fork, and then add them in there, and add the flour, give it a good mix, and it's done. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've just beaten up the 3 eggs, and we will put that into the mix. Just give it a little bit of a scrape.
Looking good.
Yum, 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 yum. So, done. And we are also going to dump in the 2 cups of self-raising flour. If you don't have self-raising flour, you can use a heaped teaspoon of baking powder and 2 cups of plain flour. But do sift it, and it just helps aerate it just a little bit. So, I mean, you know, just give it a little kind of sit, doesn't have to, boom, boom, done.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. And we also add, I'm adding some slivered almonds.
Yum. Yep, that sounds good.
Now, you can add pecans, chopped pecans,
yep,
or you can add chopped almonds. I prefer pecans or walnuts, sorry.
Okay.
I prefer the almonds. So they go in on top of the flour, and then that way the flour will coat them and they won't sink to the bottom.
Oh, okay, all right, so you put them on top of the flour then.
Yep, and then we just mix this all together, and it will all come together, and then it's all done. And then we use an ice cream scoop to scoop this into some greased muffin tins.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, so what we've done is we've mixed the dry ingredients into the wet pureed mixture, and you can see how light and fluffy that mixture is.
Very edible.
And it smells delicious.
Yum.
It's pretty good to eat. So then we're going to use an ice cream scoop just for portion control. Makes it so much easier.
Do you have to spray that or not?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all.
Right, cool.
And we've got our pretty little pink trays here.
They're pink.
Yes, they don't match everything, but they're gonna be pretty awesome.
They're pink.
I love pink.
I like neutrals, but that's okay.
That's cool.
We're still buds.
Now I'm going to actually just use a little bit of spray non-stick in these. So I'm going to do it over the sink, just so that I don't get it everywhere. Now this mixture makes about 16 or 17, so you'll need to use 2 trays, or just wait till it cools down and then.
That's really good, 16 or 17.
Puddings.
That's massive.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a lot of ingredients for that.
No,
Yeah, great
it's fantastic.
value. Yeah.
So what we do now is super easy. Use an ice cream scoop.
So they're portion controlled. which is
Portion
great. Yep.
controlled, so you don't have to pour it or spoon it.
I love that because I am so clumsy with spoons and things. So ice cream scoop, great tip.
It's just such an easy tip that I can give you. I do this with all my cake batters, and it works a treat. So. Awesome, so this mixture actually made 16, and this is what they look like in the tray, ready to go, nice and fluffy.
That was so quick, I couldn't believe how quick that was.
It's super easy recipe, trust me, really delicious and easy. We're going to bake these in a preheated oven, 180 degrees for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Now we've just put the sticky date puddings into the oven, and while they're baking for that 15 minutes, we're going to make the salted caramel sauce, which is delicious. So for that, we need 1 cup of soft brown sugar. So in it goes, pre-measured.
Beautiful.
And for it to be salted caramel, of course, we use a little bit of salt. Now I've just got some pink Himalayan here, but you can just use normal white salt.
Okay, yep.
It's not a problem. Now I've got just under 1/4 teaspoon. So in it goes. And the butter that I have been using today in the recipe, I always use unsalted butter.
Okay, yep.
But you know, you can use salted, but then you probably wouldn't need to add the salt.
Okay, yep.
So, but I always use unsalted. So that is 125 grams of butter. And we also add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So 1, 2, yum, yum, yum. Delicious. And we also add in 1 300 ml punnet of cream.
Oh, good, that's nice and easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you just empty it out.
Yeah.
We put it all in these cute little bowls, so
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Of course.
So, but you can just, yeah. So in it goes. So we're just gonna make sure we get out all of that delicious cream. So, awesome. So what we do then is we place this on the stove on a low to medium heat, and we stir, stir, stir while the muffins are baking, so that it doesn't actually catch on the bottom and burn, and it will bubble. Awesome. So these were baking, our little puddings, for 15 minutes, and what we did to test that they were cooked, we put a skewer into the middle. So we give them a little prick, prick, prick. Now one of them, as you can see, wasn't quite cooked, so it has this like sticky kind of middle. So we just left that in for just a few more minutes. Now once they're cooked, we just let them sit for a minute in the tray. Give them a little twirl so we know their bums aren't stuck, can I say that, to the tray. And then, you know, you can use tongs, but I've got asbestos fingers, so I'm just going to grab them out and very quickly, because they're quite warm, and pop them on the tray, and that's done. So I'll pop that there. Now for service, what we're going to do is going to get a nice little plate, and we're going to put some of this yummy salted caramel sauce. It's absolutely delicious. Let it cool a little bit, it thickens up as it cools. So we're just going to put like a little pool of that on there. So we don't need too much. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick out a nice big pudding. So here's a nice one here. I'm going to place that on there, sit it on top, and we are then going to get a spoon of cream. You can use whipped cream if you want. So we're just going to, you know, put some on the plate. You can kind of make it zhushy if you wish. And then I'm going to get a little bit of mint so it's pretty. And we'll just pop that on the side, and we'll get one of these delicious strawberries. And I'm just going to be a little bit arty. And where are we going to stick it? About there. Done. So there we have it. Sticky date pudding with a salted caramel sauce, lovely fresh cream, a strawberry, and what could make that better? Perhaps some ice cream. Oh, drooling. So just going to get a little bit of ice cream, nice vanilla ice cream here, and a little blob or 2 or 3 of that on there. There we have it. Delicious. So, awesome.